you're just joining us, we're talking about how do you pick the right dealership. You're going to go spend your hard-earned money. How do you do this? What's going on? So the first thing we talked about reputation. The second thing we talked about inventory. If you missed it, you're going to have to get on Louie Herron Toyota Facebook and be a fan. We'll post it so you can go back and listen. Let's talk about the third thing we talked about as we go into the break tip. Internet department. How do you know if you're picking the right dealership? And I'm telling you, you can do it by if they have a good internet department. That's a telltale sign if that is a good dealership to do business with. Now, when I say this is there's a lot of elements to this, but the thing about the internet department that I think is so critical is if you're a good dealership, okay, and you don't have an internet department or a dedicated staff to handle that, my opinion is you're not as good as you could be, and you may not be as good for the consumer. I think that department, those group of people are so critical because I think is that the statistics show us that 87% of everybody who buys a car starts off on the web. So if it starts at the web, okay, they may not submit an inquiry to buy a car through the web, but they're getting information. If you don't have the right people there to convey information, I'm not sure that's the right dealership to do business with. So here's what I'm going to urge you as a consumer. If you're going to buy a car, I would tell you before you just stop in the lot, I would go to the web. I would go to the web because you could find out real quick if that is a decent dealership to do business with. First thing I would tell you is disclosure. How many times when you submit a lead or you submit your name and information, do you get the rigmarole? I mean, if you get what do you get when they respond, if they even respond to you, okay? And the rule of thumb is you should have a 10-minute or less response time. So you send in a lead. If you don't get responded to quickly, okay, that's a sign. That's a sign about how the operation is run. Now, if you don't get responded to, within 24 hours, you really need to be questioning what's going on. The other thing I would tell you is not only in the responsiveness of the internet department, how about the professionalism? Who's behind the screen? I mean, are there typos? Is it professionally done? Is there a template with information needed for you as far as what the dealership provides? Everything the dealership provides should be included as you have dialogue with the internet department. The other thing about the internet department, so many times we talk about appraising a car. And listen, I'm from the old school in terms of when I got in the car business with the early 90s. All right, and the old rule was, hey, if the car's not here, I can't appraise it. Well, I don't totally disagree with that. We're going to have to drive the car before we actually finalize the deal. But if they can't give you a range, okay, or they don't have a template set up to where you can input your information to get a appraisal prior to going to the lot to shortcut the consumer's time when they get there, I would question that dealership being the right store. Because remember, when a customer comes to buy a car, you're checking out reputation, how they treat you. You're talking about how long it takes you to be there, and it also talking about what kind of deal you're going to get. If you go to a car dealership and you're going to spend 6 hours at a car dealership, I don't know if that's the right store for you. Yep. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we're flawless at our dealership, but we look to when someone walks in the facility and if they're ready to buy a car, okay, if we can't get them from meet and greet all the way through the business office and taking delivery within 2.5 hours, okay, there's a problem. That our philosophy is there's a problem. Now, I would love to tell you that we execute that flawlessly. We don't, okay, because there are circumstances that come in, trade. We got to get a co-signer. We're talking to someone via the phone, but it takes every bit of 40 minutes to meet and greet the consumer, find out what the needs are, find a vehicle to drive or one or two vehicles to drive, test drive the car, show the vehicle. That's almost an hour or 45 minutes worth of time. The key component is when you do that properly, you shouldn't be inside fighting over figures for an hour. So these are things that you need to look for. I urge you, internet department, in my opinion, will be a clear indication if you're picking the right dealership. You should be able to get online, and I urge everybody, don't buy a car till you get online. Now, at the end of the day, there are some folks that just like to walk in and just work a deal, and that's fine if that's the way you want to do it. But if we're talking about picking the right dealership, reputation, inventory, and now we've just talked about the internet department. So I don't know if you want to go on, we've got room for one more, or we want to go to a break.
Yeah, let me ask you a question on this, Louie.
Go ahead.
I have read that Best Buy has got a problem of basically being the showroom for people buying electronics. They'll come in, they'll look at it, and then they'll leave and go buy it online somewhere.
Right.
Does your car dealership have that problem where somebody wants to test drive a Corolla, wants to find out about it, learns everything, touches, feels it, drives it, and then thank you, Louie, and then goes and buys it?
Unfortunately, that's going to happen. But here's the thing. Here's what I tell my people all the time. Car dealers are so worried about, is the customer committed? Are they committed? Are they ready? Are they ready? My philosophy is I don't care if a customer's ready. I'm going to assume everybody's ready. My question is, are my people committed? Because my thing is, if you're dealing with a consumer, you need to do everything. So many times, the sales representative selling anything, from a Sears refrigerator to jewelry to a home or a house or a car, they get caught up in, well, I'm going to spend all this time, and this guy's going to jack me around, he's going to wait 3 days, then he's going to shop me 4 places, and then he's going to end up buying somewhere else, and I've given him everything, and blah, 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 right? That's kind of the whole, that's a normal philosophy of a sales rep. To me, that is a sale killer. My philosophy and what I do my best to impose on our people is forget the customer's commitment, man. They have the full right to shop 50 people if they want to. The key question is, are you committed to doing and giving the information they need to make a well-informed decision? Are you committed to go above and beyond? Are you committed to do more than the next sales representative is willing to do? And assuming the salesman down the street or the saleswoman down the street has a lazy streak or doesn't want to put forth the effort or wants to pre-qualify somebody, what a golden opportunity for you if you're committed.
I got you. Great.
So that's
great way to look at that. That's a great way.
That's the philosophy, and the minute we don't impose that philosophy, or any dealership or any sales organization chooses to not be committed, and they want to do just kind of a la carte, the pieces they think they should do because they think they got a deal, or they think the customer's going to buy in a month, that's garbage. You open your doors every day in business to show cars, present cars, give figures, put your best foot forward, and know going in that 2 out of 10 will say yes and 8 out of 10 are going home. Those are the statistics. So if you're really good, you're going to close 20% of the customers you deal with. If you have a bad attitude about the 8 that go home, man, you're going to kill yourself mentally. You're just going to, so my thing is simply this. Forget all that. You got to be committed. And the internet department is a part of a customer knowing that they have the right dealership. They've got to take the time to make sure that they're thorough, that they're disclosing information, they're responsive, they're professional, and that's going to be a tail sign of the whole organization.
So if a car salesman is batting 200, that's
he's
MVP.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, wow.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, what people don't realize is literally, I mean, if we talk to 10 people, 8 are going home. So, if you're one that's going to get discouraged because you talk to 10 folks and 8 folks go home, boy, you're going to have a rough time. You have to accept the fact that if you're incredible, you're going to put 3 deals together out of 10. That is really Hall of Fame. If you're 30%, you're off the chart.
I got you.
So,
in other words, just do business right, and everything else
just
is
do
going
business.
to take care of itself.
It'll take care of itself. Do business right. And here's the thing: as a sales representative, you do business right. That goes right back to number 1. If you're committed and you're not worried about the customer's commitment. You're committed, you go above and beyond, you missed the deal, let's just say. But you know what? You were so thorough and somebody got the deal down the street because maybe their manager put $200 more in a trade and they did business somewhere else. Well, if you did what you were supposed to do and that customer remembers you, goes back to your reputation. Hey, I didn't do business with Louie, Herron, Toyota, but man, they were efficient. It just, they missed the deal by $300, but my cousin's in the market for a car. You're the first person I'm sending them to. Well, you got another crack at it.
Gotcha.
You're back in the cycle of being part of the right dealership by having a solid reputation.